What's going on, Soul Tribe? I salute the divinity in you, and welcome to my channel, Alchemist. Justin here, and bringing another little nugget to add to the Soul Tribe archive. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about Jupiter in Libra in the 10th house, and look at Big Papa. Big Papa's sitting strong up here. But when we talk about the nature of Jupiter, Jupiter it is that abundant quality of life, the relief from all bad things. Jupiter is the greater benefic. So especially if you have a day chart, Jupiter is going to be your most beneficial planet. That's going to be the one you really want to look to see where, really kind of milk those good that good area of life, really work that. But Jupiter can bring about like alliances and unions, and it is a very fecund sort of energy. There's this just like natural abundance and things, and this expansive growth. Faith, is something that Jupiter calls upon, the promise of something bigger and larger in life. And Jupiter brings about this sense of even like knowledge, but like on a Gnostic level, where it's getting into that intuitive knowledge, that sort of esoteric knowledge. Jupiter really is a mysterious, mystical kind of spiritual energy, when we're talking about Big Papa. So just some things to think about there. And then when we talk about Libra, Libra is ruled by the lovely Venus, and they are the cardinal air sign, and they're active or yang in nature. And when you think about Libra as the root, as the cardinal air, they're the initiators of thought. And with having that Venusian quality into it, I think that gives Libra this kind of creative mind, obviously, one that can, appreciate, I think, like the finer, that brings balance to things, where there's disorder, then Libra will balance that out and bring order, and is always balancing that out. There's like a contract with chaos that Libra has, and it always is trying to try to not just restore but maintain that sense of balance and that sense of harmony, which is a challenge, And I think that it's remembering the power in the word, because there is an attractive quality with Libra. And I think it is remembering that our thoughts become things, and the things that and I think that's why there's a lot of responsibility there when we're talking with Libra about, the weight of our words, and, the weight of the word. So just something I think to think about with Libra. But very, very powerful minds I find with the Libran energy. And then you talk about the 10th house. This is one of the angular houses, so this is a strong house. And when we're talking about themes of the 10th house, some of let me back up a little bit. This in ancient astrology was known as the midheaven. This is the top of the chart, and that's where you'll see sometimes where the MC could potentially live. So I work with whole sign houses, so it can fall anywhere between like the 9th, 10th, or 11th. In some extreme cases, the 8th and the 12th, but typically between those three houses. But some of the themes that the 10th house is going to cover are going to be like your ranks, your honors, your reputation, kind of like social status. It could be your career, but it's more so, I think, that sense of like what you want to master, what are the actions that and skills and things that you want to be recognized for. It can also be about marriage. That can be another aspect that the 10th house brings in, can bring about authorities and things like that. But when you're working with this placement, a couple things to consider. One, you would have a Capricorn rising by whole sign, and you're going to want to look to see where Venus is at, because Venus is going to be responsible for this house and for your 5th house, which deals with like sexuality or your children, pregnancy, and then like self-expression, kind of creativity, good fortunes, pleasures, things along those lines. And then Big Papa is going to be responsible for your 3rd house, which deals with like any sort of like siblings, short distance travels. It can be learning. And then your 12th house, which deals with like confinement, illness, kind of great illnesses, loss, things along those lines. So one thing that I would really talk about with this placement, thinking about how Jupiter rules that house of learning, Jupiter is in a really prominent place, being in the 10th house here. So this is really thinking about what do you want to be recognized for, and not necessarily, that's different than what people expect you to be. What you care about, what others see you as. It's like, but what do you want to be? Because that's what people are going to see you as. So that would be something where, and that's, I think there's a lot of responsibility with that. I think, when we're talking about with Libra, that's where it's like, I think it's like not being in a place where we're pausing, where we're not like making any sort of move because we're nervous about how we're going to be perceived, but taking that moment to really consider, taking that thoughtful moment. It's like, okay, what is the next area that I want to master? How do I want to continue to grow on this journey? Who do I need to make connections with, and things like that. This could be where this thinking about Jupiter, maybe you want to do something around your community, possibly. Maybe you work on, this could be, I think, a really great placement for someone who does any sort of like civil service, like this could be where you do something for, maybe you schedule like a cleanup for your neighborhood, or, helping to maybe find justice for people maybe who are in any sort of confinement or going through any sort of like plights or anything along those lines. I think Jupiter would be really great for that, and I think that that's something where be in a position, and the things that you want to accomplish, make sure it's something that it's continuously challenging your mind, really kind of pushing you, doesn't get you where you can get complacent, where you can kind of just put yourself on autopilot. I think that Libra mind needs something to be creatively stimulated. It needs to be able to, yeah, kind of weigh the options or keep the air moving. So I think that would be something to think about. And this could be something too where maybe people even recognize you for that strength, because considering that Jupiter rules that 12th house, because we all go through those 12th house themes where maybe we're going through those sort of challenges in life, where we're experiencing loss or we're experiencing illnesses or whatever that may be. That doesn't have to be just yours. It could be maybe taking care of someone. Maybe you had to take care of a family member, a sibling, or something like that, and then people recognize you for that strength, that sort of caregiver aspect. That might be something too. I find that, like if there's any sort of like 12th house themes or 6th house themes that kind of flow to houses, that there may be that sort of that urge for help, to be of service, whether that be in any sort of like healthcare field. Maybe this is someone who does something for, just any sort of like medicine, doctor, whatever that might look like. I think this would be also too, speaking of, while I'm thinking about that, like kind of occupations, I think that this would be really great one for just any sort of like educator, any sort of like teacher, kind of passing that along, maybe again doing something for your communities, maybe even just like you kind of like start up a course, possibly, you're releasing this kind of stuff online there. The third house rules with media too, some kind of communications, that could be even helping people who are going through those sort of tough times and be able to bring about that alternative perspective to help expand their world. I think that be a beautiful way of working with that Libra in Jupiter and Libra. But I think that really and honestly, I think whatever it is that you want to do, that Jupiter help you get recognition for that, and will help you bring, who knows, very powerful people maybe in your field to help elevate you. But I think it's with that Libra, you have to take that initiative. Libra is a cardinal sign, is an active, that Jupiter is a very active energy, but you take those steps and do those things, you could probably see yourself, rising up through the ranks, whether this be, working in management positions, or, kind of rising that up, being in high, even maybe CEO sort of type things, or whatever that might be, the owners, whatever you want to do. But really think about that, because that's something where, again, that Venus rules that 5th house. So what is it that you enjoy? And I think that it's like, the more that you have that sort of fun, that you enjoy, and of course there's going to be work with all the things that we do, as we're mastering skills, but find something that is like you can enjoy the process with, something that maybe this is like a childhood dream, whatever that looking like, maybe you want to become a parent, that's another thing that people could be recognized for. But whatever this is, let it be yours, and really let it be something that because again, Jupiter, I think, would do really, really great things, especially if you have a day chart. I think that this is a real prominent one. I think Jupiter's beneficence can really kind of be accentuated here when you have the planets or the luminaries placed in an angular house. It gives them that extra kind of drive there. But those would just be some basic things that I would talk about someone with this placement. You definitely need the rest of the chart to get a better idea of this placement. But if you have this placement or know someone who working with this placement, share your stories down in the comment section about how that's been manifested for, because it's always so fascinating. I find that with the charts, it's not necessarily just me telling you what you should do. No, it's like we talk about the themes and how have they showed up for you. How have you been working in that, and can you work more into that? And if that's something that you want to explore a bit more, down in the description box there's a link for my email to get in touch with me about the services that I provide. I have the price down there for it. And if you have your sun in Cancer, depending on when you're watching this, because we're in Cancer season, or getting ready to be in Cancer season 2, and we're still in Gemini season when this is coming out. So if you got your Gemini moon, it's in, birthday just passed, it's still not too late. You got the whole birthday month. I like to give you the month, but yeah, like you get 15% off of my sessions with me. So definitely check that out if that's something that you want to do, want to work with your natal chart more, or see what are some transiting planets or transit aspects that are coming up for you. See maybe what kind of perfection you're in, or see if there's any sort of like auspicious dates. Maybe you want to plan a wedding, maybe you want to plan, maybe an endeavor, whatever that's looking like. Got you. So if that's something that resonates, again, that's down in the description box. And then feel free to check out the rest of this channel, where I have weekly videos that are coming out. I'm getting ready to start up this new series called Lunar Shenanigans, and it's not really a new series. I'm just taking the one from my other channel and I'm putting it into this one, and yeah, I'm excited for that. So if that's something that you want to kind of follow the lunar astrology and work with the moon. We all are affected by the moon. Definitely check that out. I'm reworking. I'm doing a lot of work on my channels as we speak, so everything's going to be nice and organized for you. But until next time, stay mindful out there. Keep raising that vibration through the roof, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.